Laura Hillier thought she'd beaten the odds when she found a stem cell donor match just weeks after discovering her leukemia had returned. Then she was told a shortage of recovery beds and doctors who can perform the transplant would mean the potentially life-saving treatment would be delayed for months. Laura and her mother Frances join us now. And Laura, what news to get?
Yeah, it was really shocking because you always hear about the wait of finding a donor, and that's the big hurdle. And when we heard that there was multiple matches and they're narrowing down a specific person right now, it was like, we're so happy, it's so great, and feeling great about it. And then to hear that we're put on this waiting list because there's not a transplant bed or isolation special room available was really hard to hear because the wait is not a benign wait. So.
No, it is not a benign wait. There's severe and serious consequences. And as her mom, Frances, I know this is hard news for you to take, but as you did your research, you discovered that this is a Canada-wide problem.
That's right. I mean, first when we asked lots of questions and heard that she had to have this chemotherapy just because of the wait time to keep her body in remission, I said, send us anywhere. Like, we'll relocate. Can we go to Ottawa or Princess Margaret? And they said it's across Ontario. And then further questions, I found out it was actually across Canada. There were at every center that does stem cell transplants from unrelated donors, which is what Laura's requiring, has actually wait lists.
And you looked into the States as well, going to the United States, but there's a huge $250,000.
That's the minimum that you have to pay initially for the treatment, but then you have to stay for months down there, and you have your accommodation and everything. So it's really hard to imagine finding those funds.
And you mentioned this just a second ago, Laura, but the chemotherapy that you have to undergo while you wait, that has its consequences.
Yeah, this chemo that I would have to go through is called high-dose cytarabine, and it can be potentially damaging to the cerebellum, which is in your brain. So it's brain damaging, it can hurt your vision, and just your liver processing it and everything. It's very damaging in general. You lose your hair and you feel like crap, and your counts go down, you get infections because you don't have things to fight, and some people succumb to those infections. So we talked to them about this wait and what we would be doing in the meantime, like are there any options and stuff, but they said some people relapse in the wait, so they get cancer again, some people die, and some people get infections, either succumb to the infections or have permanent damage while waiting.
We reached out to the Ontario Health Minister on this subject. We told him that you were going to be on the show, and here's what a spokesperson for Eric Hoskins had to say. With advances in care, there are growing demands for stem cell transplants. It is our expectation that hospitals will prioritize patients based on medical urgency. However, those decisions are made by each individual hospital. I know you had been trying to get in touch with him, Frances.
Well, I sent a letter initially, I said when we heard this, well, I'm going to be writing a letter. I sent it to the president of Cancer Care Ontario,
right,
who then would be talking to Eric Hoskins. And I did hear back from him, but I have not yet heard from Eric Hoskins until now, or Kathleen Wynne, but I did copy her on the letter as well. I feel that there needs to be a short-term solution for all the people on the wait list. If it is across Canada, there are wait lists for stem cell transplants, and the wait is not a benign wait. The wait is being treated with chemo and possibly losing people along that way while they wait. There has to be addressed, as well as the long-term. It's wonderful that stem cell transplants are now being used as cures for more diseases and greater age ranges of patients as well. They used to only transplant people up to the age of 40, and now they can do transplants up to 70. So that just, expands the whole need so much more. So we're just hoping that, that there will be something more done in an urgent way.
Frances and Laura, we appreciate you coming in, and we're going to continue to follow what happens.
Thank you
All the best to you.
Thank you very much.
We reached out to Health Minister Rona Ambrose, and she declined our request to comment.